My name is Latifa AL Maktoum. I was born on December 5, 1985. My mom is Horia Ahmed Lamara. She's from Algeria. My father is the Prime Minister of UAE and the ruler of Dubai, Mohammed bin Rashid Saeed Al Maktoum. He has 3 daughters called Latifa. I'm the middle one. There's one older than me and one younger than me. And he has 2 daughters called Maryam also. I have 30 brothers and sisters total. I had to say that in case this video is discredited in any way that, no, there is a Latifa there and a Latifa there. Yeah, there's 3 Latifas. I'm one of them. I'm the middle Latifa. My full sisters are Metha and Shamsa. They're both older than me, and Majid, he's younger than me. And I'm making this video because it could be the last video I make. Yeah. Pretty soon I'm going to be leaving somehow. And I'm not so sure of the outcome, but I'm 99% positive it will work. And if it doesn't, then this video can help me, because all my father cares about is his reputation. He will kill people to protect his own reputation. He only cares about himself and his ego. So this video could save my life. And if you are watching this video, it's not such a good thing. Either I'm dead or I'm in a very, very, very bad situation.
Let me explain why we're doing this segment here. Glad you're with us. 24 now till the top of the hour. 800-941-SEAN is our toll-free telephone number. If you remember back in the 2016 campaign, I think, I don't know what others have done, what everyone else has done. If you remember, I made a really big deal about, Hillary Clinton, champion of women. Turns out women were paid less on the campaign. And the money that was given from countries that abuse women, and I used the Saudi Arabian example, and I used Kuwait as an example, countries that allowed, in some cases, marital rape was legal. Women told how to dress. Women can't drive. Women can't vote. Women can't go abroad. They can't even leave their houses in some countries without the approval of a man in the house. And Hillary would take millions and millions of dollars. She claims to be a champion of women, and she took millions and millions of dollars from these countries that treat women horribly. Many of them kill gays and lesbians just for being who they are. And Christians and Jews are persecuted. You can't build a church. You can't build a temple in many of these countries. But the money went flowing into the Clinton Foundation. So a while back, our friend Linda is like, you've got to look at this video. I'm like, what video? Okay. She goes, there is a modern day princess that is literally on the verge of death, that is going to be killed, that is being persecuted. And in other words, it was the daughter. Her name is the Dubai Princess Latifa AL Maktoum is her name. And so finally, Linda convinced me to watch the video. And you hear nothing but fear. That was the first part of the audio you just heard. And literally panic, and the fact that a princess could be killed for no reason at all except that she wanted to be free. And Linda, to her ever-growing credit, got me to look at more and more, and she did a deep dive into all of this. And I said, is this really true? Remember, I kept saying, is that really true? We have a princess in the world. We all like prince and princess stories, but this princess is being held captive. What is the status of her now, which is the question?
She's still in captivity, and we're fortunate enough to have her attorneys here with us today to bring us up to speed on everything.
Yeah, David High is with us, and Radha Stirling is with us. They're both attorneys. They're both working with an organization, and Detained in Dubai, which is based in the United Kingdom, helps people like Princess Latifa with legal problems in the UAE. They have seen this before, apparently. David, I'll start with you. Is this princess is literally at risk of losing her life?
Hi, Sean. Hi, Linda. Thank you for having us. And just listening to that here, it still gives us goosebumps. I mean, we first heard it 2 months ago, and like you, we thought, is this real? And the sad thing is that it is. We don't know 100% if Latifa is still alive. The last time she was seen was being taken at force on a boat in international waters, a U.S. boat that was attacked, claiming a political asylum, and telling the people that were taking her that she would rather die on the boat than be taken back to the UAE. And that's the last time we saw her, which was the 4th of, not saw her, but heard from her, which was the 4th of March.
Would it be usual practice for her? You are representing her. She knows you support her. Would she make every effort to get in contact with you if she could?
One would assume so, yeah. One would assume so. That would be the normal practice. I mean, the extent that she went to make sure that we were contacted, protected, in terms of releasing videos and documents and information, one would assume that would be the case.
And you and Radha are practicing attorneys in the UK, right?
Well, I'm a practicing attorney in the UK, and Radha's also a legal counsel as well. And we have an NGO called Detained in Dubai, which Radha set up 10 years ago.
Radha, do you have any idea what happened to her and what you fear may have happened to her?
Well, it seems, and we're assuming, because the UAE government hasn't responded to any calls from media or anyone else, we're assuming that she was taken back to Dubai, and that's where she's being held right now. But until they provide an official response, we're not going to know for sure as to whether she's safe. Or, as you saw her in her video, she said that she was locked up for years, tortured, abused, and she had medication forced on her to sedate her. So we can only assume that that same practice is happening to her right now, and that's why they haven't presented her to the media.
What is the general treatment of women in Dubai?
Well, despite the great efforts that are underway to celebrate International Women's Day and to promote women's rights and to ensure equal pay and to see women on the board of directors of major companies, it's actually quite the opposite. We've seen, over the years, a lot of women reporting that they've been raped, and then they've been charged with having sex outside marriage as though it were voluntary. So there's certainly no equality, and the treatment of women there is clearly, if the ruler himself is treating his daughter in that way, that attitude is only going to permeate down.
Let me ask you, David, because you have your own personal experience with this, and you were detained and in prison. You were there for, what, close to a year, I understand it?
No, a little bit longer, 22 months altogether. I was there for 5 months of that was for so-called Twitter abuse. Twitter
abuse? You were put in a prison for Twitter abuse?
I was jailed for Twitter abuse, correct.
By the way, I would have gotten a life sentence if I was there then. But
I was thinking the same.
What was the prison experience like? And you're there because you are a human rights activist. In other words, you see a problem. You've dedicated your life, and I know, Radha, you have dedicated your life, that when people are being persecuted and at risk of losing their lives, in this case, literally the daughter of the leader of Dubai and you're the ruler of Dubai. So you're talking about, the highest profile person, and you believe her life is in jeopardy. How did they treat you in prison?
I mean, I was treated very, very badly. I mean, I used to run a football club in England, so my case became quite high profile. And because of that, I've been able to help other people. I mean, I was tortured, abused, raped. I wasn't even allowed to go to so-called hearings. And I say so-called hearings. And in the end, when I was just about to go home, they filed something else ridiculous, which was Twitter abuse. I mean, anywhere in the world where they can keep you in jail for Twitter abuse for 5 months and then find you innocent is ridiculous. And so I've seen firsthand in my own case, because I've experienced it, but also in other people. I mean, when I finally got back to England, I spent about, 6 months in hospital as an inpatient in hospital, repairing all the broken bones and the broken mind, etc., that I've been through. And then I felt that I had to help other people because I've seen what happens. And I think there's, it's irony is not the right word, but the fact that Radha and I are probably very vocal, probably the most vocal critics of the justice system in Dubai, and I use the word justice.
I know that everyone has a conception about Dubai, but there really are a lot of misconceptions about Dubai and the UAE. I really do think, I don't know many other people that are broadcasters in America that have taken on the issue of life for women and gays and lesbians and Christians and Jews in some of these countries that practice Sharia. And the reality is, Radha, is that when you look at their laws and you look at the reality, it's very different than, say, the perceptions that they want to project to the rest of the world. Isn't that true?
Well, certainly. On the one hand, the ambassador of the UAE, Sheikh Mohammed, and the Dubai Media Office is promoting the UAE as the Las Vegas of the Middle East. But this case, and all of the cases really that we've dealt with over the past 10 years, illustrate that it's far from the Las Vegas of the Middle East. In fact, it's more like Saudi. But this perception and the fact that they're using celebrities to market it, American celebrities to market the country back to American citizens, is creating
so they're this is important. They're paying really for the top talent, singers, actors, celebrities. They're paying them massive amounts of money to go to Dubai, marketing it like it's, the brand new Vegas or the Vegas of the Middle East, if you will, when in reality, would it be a fair statement to say that women are abused on a regular basis?
Yeah, I think that's an absolutely fair statement to make. And we get inquiries all the time from women saying they're in captivity, they can't leave the country, their husband's confiscated their passport, they can't get it back, they can't get justice, their children are taken away. Whatever it happens to be, there is a lot of abuse of women in the country.
Mm-hmm. What about the United States? Because I know there is an alliance with the UAE, the Saudis, the Israelis, the Egyptians, Jordanians against Iranian hegemony, which is a bigger problem because you're talking about nuclear weapons. What would you like to see the United States? Should they be highlighting these human rights abuses?
Well, I think that the U.S. really needs to respond to this one in particular, because what we're seeing is Sheikh Mohammed has told an American citizen that he didn't commit a crime, but they felt that it was okay to go and abduct him from a U.S.-flagged yacht in international waters against all of the treaties, using the very military that the U.S. is providing them. And if we don't cut it off there and stop that from happening and let them know that that's not okay, what's next?
Mm-hmm. Do you think there's any way that you can get enough media attention that could save this woman's life, this princess's life?
I absolutely do. In our experience over the years, and we've dealt with around about 10,000 cases, so that's quite a lot, what we've seen is any cases that are highlighted to the international press are usually dealt with quite swiftly by the government of the UAE. And in one case last year, Sheikh Mohammed himself intervened in that case because it was highlighted to the media. So any kind of press and spotlight that we can maintain on Sheikha Latifa's plight will likely lead to her freedom.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll have more on this. The ruler of Dubai, his daughter, now missing, and the world is looking for her. Anyway, we'll continue with our guests, David Hai, and Radha Stirling is with us. All right, we talked a lot about the abuse of women under Sharia law. In the case of Dubai, their ruler has now basically put his own daughter in prison and is now missing, and nobody knows what happened. And two lawyers looking into this, trying to assist her. David Hai is with us, and Radha Stirling is with us from the UK. I'm going to give you the last word, David Hai. Is there any help from the UK government? Is there any help from many of America's allies? Any help from Australia, New Zealand? Is there any human rights groups that are actively assisting you?
I think, Sean, I think that the thing that we've experienced, and the sad thing is that there's too many vested interests, and in the UK and everywhere else, and including, when we actually, when we were looking for journalists, you were one of the first journalists that we approached, because we needed brave people, because something that we've experienced, and particularly in relation to other human rights charities, is that they don't want to get involved. Because Dubai have a great public image and they spend a lot of money on fake news and spin. And so it's been disappointing. And to be honest...
Well, I think these celebrities need to be contacted if you hear that they're going. I think one of the best things you could do, find out and tell us and make sure that they're aware of what the conditions are. If nothing, just have a behind-the-scenes call and say, okay, you're getting $1 million for 2 days, but let me tell you what you're not going to see that's really going on in this country behind the scenes, and they're using you to create a false image.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, that's why I thought it was wrong for Hillary to take all that money from all those countries that abuse women, gays, lesbians, Christians, and Jews. And I was the only one, I think, in the country that said it again and again and again. And here you have, a woman's life in danger. And you're right. There's a lot of money being poured out there so they can build up, the financial aspects of their country. And meanwhile, people are treated like crap and abused. All right. Thank you both. Good luck in your endeavors. And we appreciate what you're doing. And thanks for sharing that story. Linda, I know you've been digging deep into this. This has really impacted you, I think, in a big way.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where it's such a miscarriage of justice. And this woman is sitting in prison somewhere. And if we know about it, we have to do something.
It happens. Human trafficking exists in the world today. There is human slavery today. There's child abuse today. There's all this evil that goes on. And it's really heartbreaking. because you just know. And then you got the bigger picture. Then you got the bigger issues you got to deal with.